G'day there guys, I just found out that my wife is my cousin and I can't accept reality. What am I going to do about this situation? It's Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Now if that was crazy, just wait till you hear some of these stories. Sit back, relax and enjoy, I think you'll love it. Posted by user ThrowRakeSo. Titled, My parents falsely accused my brother of being a creep and it's really affecting him. My brother is 15, my sister is 17, and I'm 23. This is really stupid, and it shouldn't have really happened, but it did. Now I just want advice on how to make it better. Also, this is the story my brother told me as I wasn't there. He was in his room playing on his phone, minding his own business. He got up to take out the trash, he came back to lay down in his bed. As he was laying down, he noticed the dog walking out of his room and he ignored it. Later on, his sister, 17, noticed clothes were missing. She went looking for it and found it in my brother's room. The problem was that it was wet and slimy. She immediately told our parents and they thought the worst. My dad, mum, and brother argued about it. Rude things were said. Apparently, Mum said I knew you were weird, but not this weird. My dad said I raised a predator. In the end, my parents asked me to pick him up and let him stay with me for a couple of days. When I picked him up, he didn't say anything and just sat in silence. He spent the entire time in his room that he was staying in. He only came out for dinner. He skipped breakfast and lunch. His eyes were always red when he came out, so I assume he was crying. I've never seen him cry. Most of the time when he's upset, he just has a stone face, so what they said must have got to him. Finally, at the end of the week, his parents called me and said they wanted to talk to him, so they came over. Before they came over, I tried to talk to him, but he ignored me. When parents came, they apologized to him. Over the week, they noticed more of sister's clothes in his room, until one day my dad caught the dog with my sister's clothes. My brother just said okay and went home. I tried to ask my parents if he could stay longer, but they said that wouldn't be necessary. Later on, I got a call asking me what did he do over at my house, because he's just been in his room all day at their house. Is there anything I can do to help him feel better? Advice would be greatly appreciated. Edit, little update. Good news. He can stay with me until Sunday. I had to lie a little to my parents to get him to come. I told them he should get out of the house because he spends most of his day sitting in one spot with online school. They didn't believe me at first, but I said it would be a chance to get him out of his room. They finally agreed. He was about to go to sleep, so I came just in time. I think the plan right now is just to spend time with him this week. I'm broke, so it's going to be mostly home stuff. I tried to talk to him on the car ride. I asked him if he's okay. He said he's fine, and we had a little conversation about his school, so at least he's talking now. He's in the spare room, so everything is okay right now. God, your parents are something else. So they're convinced that he's a pervert, and are clearly wrong about that in the first place, but then they make him stay with you. Another one of his sisters? I don't know your family, but it would seem to me like they have more problems with him than just that, and that is just awful. He's 15. He doesn't deserve any of this abusive crap. I really hope he starts responding to your texts soon. Maybe you could take him out and do some fun things? To show him like you know he's not like that. I don't know, it's a really horrible situation. Her father literally accused her of raising a predator. I suspect OP did more parenting for that kid than his parents. I think OP was saying the dad literally said the words, "I raised a predator," talking in disbelief about himself. Yep, just as the mum said, "I knew you were weird." Your parents need to apologize to your brother profusely. Beyond that, I sadly have no other advice to offer. I can understand why he's upset. I wonder what kind of people OP's parents are to immediately assume it was their brother instead of the obvious answer, the dog. Who mistakes jizz for dog slobber, if that's what they thought it was? I've seen how much slobber a dog can get on stuff. They must think this kid is a geyser. No kidding. It smells different, looks different, feels different, and dries quicker. Definitely tastes different too. I'm really sorry for this one. What happened is the dog wanted to lick the discharge off the sister's panties because it's salty, so it wasn't soaked with slobber, just wet from the dog licking it. Oh God. So how's your day going? Your parents broke your brother and accused him of things they can't walk back. I would get him a therapist ASAP. Yeah, I agree with the broke him part. The things they said straight to his face and then brushed it off is awful. I hope he has some support somewhere. Knowing how the horrible things my mother said affected me, none of which came within miles of this verbal assault, that kid is definitely in a rough place right now. Even if the parents sincerely apologize, which I doubt will happen, he knows what they think of him and what they think he's capable of. That's a long road back. I wouldn't blame him if he chose not to take it. Updates. So I've been asked to update the situation. Many of you guys asked that I let my brother live with me, but I had to take him back to our parents' house this morning. The last update I gave was when my brother was allowed to spend the week at my house. That was last Sunday. We spent the first day, Monday, at my house just talking. He spent most of the time in the room. At first, he wasn't responding back. It was going nowhere quickly, so I ended the conversation by telling him our parents were wrong and that he's not weird. I didn't say it exactly like this, but I hope you get the point. He just had a stone face and we stopped talking. Tuesday, he still didn't really come out of the room. I offered to go to McDonald's and he just came out of the room to eat at the table. We just talked about random different things, and he wasn't really interested in the conversation until we started talking about my Xbox. We eventually started talking about Madden. He started talking about how good he is at the game. We finished eating and he went back to his room. Wednesday, I bought Madden. I don't play sports games. I play games like Cuphead or cartoon animated games. I asked if he wanted to play, and he agreed. I know this is serious, but Madden absolutely sucks. The game started cheating as soon as we started. The first thing my player did was fumble the ball, and he was killing me at it. He actually laughed a couple of times, and he seemed to be enjoying himself. We spent a good portion of the day just playing. Tuesday was pretty much the same as Wednesdays, but he was talking more. I was going to go to the movies, but the pandemic is still a thing. We eventually just settled to watching Netflix. He spent half the day in his room, but he's coming out more. Friday, I decided to talk to him about the situation again. I pretty much told him that I would talk to our parents to get them to understand why he was hurt by it. I also took the advice of seeing if he wanted to talk to a professional. He asked me not to ask them about it. He said it was just better if nobody brought it up again. I was a little shocked, but there's not much I could do. We then decided to go to a walking trail. At first, he didn't want to go, but I convinced him to come. We just spent more time talking. This also made me realize that I should talk to my siblings more often. He seemed happier. Saturday, or yesterday, was pretty much just us talking again. We decided instead of Madden to just play random games I had. I don't have a lot, but I think he had a good time. When it was dinner time, he got kinda quiet again. I asked him what was wrong. He said he wasn't ready to go back home yet. I didn't know what to say. I asked him if he wanted me to talk to our parents to see what we could do. He just said no again. I pretty much told him he could come to my house anytime he wanted to. That leads us to today. He is back at his house. I was going to talk to our parents, but I assumed he has a reason for not wanting me to talk to them. I know you guys said something about getting him a therapist, but he said no to the idea. I did call my sister to see how she's doing. She said she tried to apologize to brother, but he ignored her. I don't know what's happening with that, but one thing at a time, I guess. And that's pretty much how the week went. Overall, he seemed much happier than he was last week. I texted him and he wants to come back over sometime next week. This part has nothing to do with my brother, but it's about me. You don't have to read. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm only 23, still trying to get my life together. I'm a firefighter, so I'm just glad that we get a lot of vacation time, or else I would have had to work. I know people are thinking if you're a firefighter, you should know what to do, and why did you ask what the signs of depression are? I was never trained on how to deal with somebody actively showing signs of depression. I was trained to help somebody who was in the process of trying to commit suicide, and that training wasn't that good. It was basically to try to talk them down and do whatever you can to get them to a hospital. I've yet to use this training. This is why I was panicking when everything was happening. People were telling me he could commit suicide. I know I should have kept a cool head, but it just felt different because it was family. They tell you not to panic, but I'm only human. I've been a firefighter for about 2 years now. Anyway, something else I wanted to say. I'm gonna try to be there for my brother and sister, but I make mistakes too. Somebody brought up the point of, when I found out what happened, what was my reaction? I'm ashamed to admit, but I didn't have one. I thought he was going to get over it and everything would be alright. I only started caring when I realized that he wasn't acting like his normal self. That when I realized the impact of what they said and how screwed up this all really is. So to the person who brought up this point, thank you. This showed me that no matter how great my actions are looking in front of random strangers, the truth is that I had a similar mindset as my parents. I don't think he's weird, but I guess my time spent around them made me desensitized to the things they say. I don't know. I'm gonna work to change that because it's not right. So to everybody, thank you for the advice you have given. I see the mistake I've made and I'm 100% behind changing myself and being behind my brother. You're a great sister, OP. I would try to invite him over often, more so than just extending one forever open invitation. It'll make him feel more wanted. I'll definitely try to keep hanging out with him and invite him over more often. I'm also going to try to hang out with my sister more. I'm going to try to have a better relationship with the both of them. And you say I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Sounds like you do to me. Sounds like you care about your bro. That's all that needs to be done. Have you thought about introducing your brother to your pals at the station? Maybe give him a tour. When I graduated fire school, we had like a family day. We brought our family to where we did our training for fire school, so they all know my brother, sister, and parents. Your bro reminds me of myself when I was 15. I remember being angry and shy back then. I would mainly be quiet and just keep to myself. This made me a bit of an a-hole. I was falsely accused of stealing money from my parents, and it sucked. Talking about it sucked. When the truth came out, it still sucked. I can imagine he's just really angry with his family, excluding you, and also embarrassed at the same time. I doubt he'll want to talk, but playing games with him or just having fun sounds like a good way to keep a healthy relationship with him. Posted by user ThrowRama. Titled, My boyfriend, 35 male, drugged me, 26 female, with Benadryl because we got into an argument before our road trip and he wanted me to sleep the whole time. So on Monday, we decided to make the 8-ish hour drive back to our home state and quarantine there instead for a few months. Right before leaving, we got into a big fight because I wanted to stay at my mother's house for a while and he doesn't want me to, amongst other things that I won't get into. Well, before leaving, we decided to eat dinner so we didn't have to stop anywhere. Fast forward to our drive, and not long after hitting the road, I passed out. I don't even really remember falling asleep. I woke up one time for a while, drank some Gatorade which he gave to me, and then I fell asleep again. I thought this was extremely weird because I wasn't tired hardly at all, and we didn't even leave super early. I kept commenting on how weird it was that I was tired the whole drive and slept 90% of it. Yesterday, the tension eased a bit, and he made the offhanded comment that he wishes he could drug me more when I act out and argue with him. I ask him what he was talking about. Proceeds to tell me he put Benadryl in my drink and that's why I slept. so he didn't have to deal with me. He literally said this as if it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm still reeling from that conversation and completely floored. I don't know if I'm overreacting or not, but something tells me I'm not, and it's extremely screwed up to put medicine in drinks. I don't know what to do. Listen, leave now. As a woman who has been there and didn't leave when I should have, leave. Second, you can get evidence later. You have a phone. He's bound to try to talk to you. Get him to admit it later via text or something, but proof is not, or should not be, your number one concern right now. Your safety is the most important thing. Can your mum come get you? Can you get away from him to a public place with people and wait for her or a friend to pick you up? I've been there too. My ex started fixing me a cocktail after work every night to help me unwind. I'm not a big drinker. Maybe 4 or 5 times a year, you know? So I wasn't that interested in them. He would press for me to finish the drink, and I didn't understand. Then I noticed stuff floating on the top of the residue in the bottom. I asked about it, and he would say, "Oh, must be the ice maker needs to be cleaned." I found out he was crushing Ambien and other sleeping pills and adding it to my drinks. And yes, that made me more compliant in all the ways he wanted. I figured it out. Didn't try to get proof or call the police, I just got out. I often regret that I didn't try to document it and press charges, but at least I got out alive. Please don't stay with this man. Leave him. That is a very big problem. Now he knows how to keep you at bay, he may exploit it for his gain. Seriously, you need to go now. Drugging someone is wrong, and he could have seriously harmed you. This dude needs to be dumped ASAP, and you need to talk to a doctor and possibly police. You are underreacting if you are still with him. Update. Holy crap, y'all. I haven't been on Reddit since I posted my original post here, and I did not expect this. I had to make an extra account with a similar name to post because of the 48-hour thing. But I know a lot of people were genuinely worried about me, so I wanted to go ahead and post an update. Sorry if that's not allowed. Thank you guys so much. I can't even believe the support and response I got. I ended up calling my brother and telling him about it and asking him how I should handle it, and he got in his car to come get me before I even finished telling him what all had happened. Him freaking out more than anything else made me realize that I wasn't overreacting. I didn't tell my boyfriend I was leaving until my brother was parked on the street, and I just walked out with a few things. So now I'm in a messy breakup situation where he's already tried to come by my mum's house, even though I told him I didn't want to see him and that I'd get my stuff eventually, both from his parents' house where he's currently at and his actual house. Things are going to be weird to figure out, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm totally okay. Thank you. I can't reply to everyone who reached out and messaged, so I hope you guys see this and know I appreciate it. OP, I don't want to alarm you or overwhelm you, but in all honesty, the period after leaving an abusive relationship is one of pretty great risk. So please consider taking some of the following steps to protect yourself. This is because when the victimized partner leaves, the abuser feels that they are losing power over them, and they may escalate in some way to attempt to regain the power. You've taken some really great first steps, and kudos to you for doing so. Preserving evidence and documentation. If at all possible, you should cut contact with him to the fullest extent. Take screenshots of every message he sends you. Document every date, time, detail of incidents, such as him coming by your house. Informing loved ones of potential stalking. Make sure your mum, brother, and any other houses or people whom he might contact are aware to be on the lookout for him if he shows up. Instruct them to call the police if he shows up at their places. Ask them to screenshot any messages he sends them also, and to not respond. Requesting a police escort. You may be able to request a police escort to retrieve your belongings from his house, if this is an option in your location. However, ideally the police would be able to retrieve them for you without you present, and ideally he would not be present either. Safety planning. Please be careful about this. Leaving an abusive relationship is a time of heightened danger. Consider putting together one of the safety plans from a Go Ask Rose. Scroll to the first 24 hours after leaving safety plan and work from there. Do not assume that meeting in public will be safe or safer. It is not. When an abuser feels that they have lost control over the victim, they may escalate. Documentation. The DocuSafe app, developed by the National Network to End Domestic Violence, is an evidence collection app that allows survivors to document and store information about the abuse. Survivors can document abuse by logging individual incidents, including any photos, screenshots, or video documentation of threatening messages, harassing social media posts, unwanted repeat calls, or online impersonation, among other abusive behaviors. Only use this app if it is safe to do so. Orders for protection. Consider using any evidence you have to file for an order of protection. You can ask a domestic abuse advocate to assist you. Tech safety. Some suggestions: get a new phone and number. Disable location services. Consider using a secure messaging platform such as Signal instead of text for a while. Ensure that your device storage is encrypted, and see if you can switch your computer, if you have one, to Linux. And another comment about this story. This is a classic example of what would you tell your friend or significant other or sister if they came to you with this? You get in your car and get them out of a dangerous situation ASAP. I'm so glad you followed your gut, OP, both posting here and calling someone you trusted. I'd encourage calling the non-emergency police line, if not to press charges, then at least to ensure your safety in obtaining your belongings. He deserves severe consequences for his reprehensible actions. He thought this was fine. It's not hard to imagine him escalating and drugging a partner to justify other desires. I'm so glad you're safe, and best of luck moving forward. Alright, that's where I think I'm going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I really do hope you learned something or just really enjoyed the posts that were put up today. Quick shout out to all my new and existing Patreon and channel members. You should be able to see your name on screen right now, and if you don't, then I don't think you're part of the club, and you really should join the club because it's a great club. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for supporting me in this journey. It really means so much to me, and I love you all so much for it. Thank you for helping me out. As you can tell, I'm now happy and healthy back in Australia. Thank God it's not cold like Ireland. I don't like wearing jumpers everywhere. I prefer the heat. Thank you very much. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Anyway, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you later. Bye.